Okay, so again, let me explain something. Now we're streaming in the central spot on the Facebook page and on YouTube. Now the thing is it if you're commenting from the central spot, I will not see your name. So I think that's what happening with people here now because I'm seeing Facebook user. So I guess those three comments are from people in the central spot. So I wouldn't see your name. Um, I think maybe I have to join that group with my page and then that might make things a little bit easier. Um, Vincent is supposed to join me on here. Let me see something here. Nothing much happened. I don't even know who that question is coming from. So you would need to share the live tonight because some people are still not certain in relation to what is going on. So help them to find the page. Let me see. Let me see. Let me see. Let me see. So tag a friend. Let them know that here's where we are. Dun, dun, dun. Gonna give you a while. Gonna give you a while. Because after the rant, there were people, still messaging me, what's going on, what's going on, what's going on. No, nothing is going on. This is 2022 and we're just going to do things a little different. A little different. Oh. Mm. Ah, let me go in here and see something. I'm trying to see. Boom, 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 boom. Mm, 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 mm. Okay, come on. Hey, Phyllis. Joyette. Okay. Um, I think you're commenting from the central spot, which is not a problem. It's just that I won't see your names. But that's not an issue. That is not an issue at all. I'm still trying to find Mr. Kenson. Not sure where he is. I don't know where he is. Okay, so tonight we have a few things to talk about. We want to look at what's going to happen tomorrow in terms of the protest. And why, thank you, Renrick. Renrick said 2020, the most beautiful woman in SVG. So Renrick, I guess you saw that thing on St. Vincent Times. Juanita, I'm glad that you tagged Kathy Club because I'm trying to figure out why I'm not hearing from Charmin, why I'm not seeing Charmin. So exactly where is Charmin? Where is she? Where is she? Because I'm not seeing her. Sharon, where? Mm-mm-mm. Okay, one last thing, and then we're gonna get started. Oh, tonight we're gonna try out a little something. We're gonna actually accept some phone calls tonight, and let's try to get this thing to be a little more interactive than it is, because like I said, this is 2022 and we have to do things a little bit differently. We can't be operating on the same level all the time. We have to step up. We gotta step up. Okay. I Shane. Ocean vacation, you put on vacation now. Okay, so tomorrow, Rise Hairouna is going to be on the streets of Kingstown protesting, and all like-minded individuals should do the same. Now let me find exactly what time they'll be there. Okay, so they are looking to be there from around 10 o'clock tomorrow morning. And like I said, every like-minded Vincentian should be on the street tomorrow. There's just too many things happening in this country for us to sit down and not, thank you, Nyla, for us to just sit down and pretend that we don't see it happening. Now, you have so many civil servants and teachers who've already lost their jobs because of the tyranny of Ralph Gonsalves. Hey, Swan. And the sad thing is, many of them are still a bit afraid to come out and stand up for themselves, and we know why. So I always say to you that when it comes to protest, if it's me standing there alone or it's me and 100 other persons, it really doesn't bother me because I am standing up for what I believe in, and I'm standing up to defend my country and to defend democracy. And most of all, I'm standing up to ensure that my child grows up in the sort of St. Vincent that I grew up in, one in which you were not fearful to speak your mind, one in which we had a culture that was vibrant and full of so many different aspects. And when I say one in which we weren't afraid to speak our minds, just look at it now, and compare it to back then in the 80s and the 90s before Ralph Gonsalves. You had calypso. Now, calypso has always been seen as a form of resistance, right? It has always been seen as songs of resistance, songs in which you talk about cultural um, events, which you talk about societal issues, societal ills, whether it's a politician or a preacher, a farmer or a teacher, a doctor or a van conductor, a driver, or it didn't matter what it was. We used calypso back then to express what was going on. So you had songs like the famous Moutina Mimuma, which many people would tell you it was written for Panel Campbell, now deceased. And okay, so now let's say that vans will be coming out of Georgetown. Those of you who wish to get those vans from that area, you contact Sherry and Kane. Okay. Now, hi, good night. Please share the live. Those of you on here, everybody on here should have shared the live by now. Like I said, there are people asking, tag a friend, share the live. Let me just make one more thing here to try to find Kenson. And in the meantime, between time, share the live. Share the live. Don't sit down here if you're not sharing the live because it makes no sense for you to be on here and you're not sharing the live. I keep saying that to y'all. Share the live. Thank you, Phyllis. You see why I love Phyllis? I love Phyllis. You know, I love Phyllis. I don't even have to ask Phyllis to share the live. Phyllis don't share the live. Phyllis don't share the live. Long time. Mm, 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 mm. Dum, 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 dum. Boom, 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 boom. Boom, boom, boom. Mm. Boom, 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 boom. If you see Kenson somewhere, tell him I'm looking for him. Thank you, Holly. Thank you, Holly. So share the live, people. Share the live. Ooh. Ooh, 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 ooh. Mm, mm, mm. Boom, 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 boom. Mr. Simon, bring me in, bring. Okay, yes. So yeah, what was I saying now? I lost my thoughts. Good. So we had those songs back then that encouraged people to talk about the ills in our society. We were able to vent. Um, you had songs like Banana Police, and you have all sorts of songs making fun of other people, public figures, and all of these things. And now we have a situation where what we have is more like an R&B being done in the calypso terms. People are afraid to sing. It's only the people like Abidjan and Patches who you would find coming out and actually doing social commentary. The rest are just singing to please massa. Ralph Gonsalves has killed calypso in this country, and he is trying every day to erode every avenue to just erase, break down, mash up every avenue we have to express ourselves. And so that's why you see it had the whole rush to create the cybercrime laws, because in his mind, he would get people to shut up. And I'm saying to you, you can't shut up. The day we stop talking in this country, the day we stop standing up to him and his oppressive ways, is the day this man is going to totally take over this place. And I'm telling you this, you see this year 2022, if we don't get rid of this man in 2022, this country is going to become more impoverished than it is now, more chaotic. We're going to find ourselves battling with countries like Haiti. And as far as I'm concerned, right now, Haiti is doing far better than we are. We have a thing here in St. Vincent and Grenadines where I hope we like to talk about all people going off to university and people doing this and people doing that. And we think that is some sort of milestone. We think that is some sort of hallmark of development of our democracy or whatever it is. And I will tell you plainly, it isn't. Because when you have people coming home from university and talking about, oh, I can't say anything bad against the government because the government sent me to study. When you have people coming home with that sort of mindset, it helps you to understand that they have not gained an education. They have not gained an education, because if you go and spend 3, 4, 5 years at university, 6, 7, according to what field you're in and whatever you're doing, and you come back to St. Vincent and Grenadines and you don't understand that you went to university because of the taxes your parents have paid, your your aunts, your teachers, and even you perhaps, if you go to university and come back and don't understand that it's your tax money that was able to pay for your economic cost, you're a dunce. You are a dunce. You might have a university degree, and whether it's a lower seconds, or upper seconds, a first class, a pass, I don't care what sort of degree you have. If you come back with a degree from a university and you still don't understand how tax, you know, operates, or the use of tax, and you're done. So now, when I'm saying in terms of more university qualified people, a proper downstream, and in relation to Haiti, Haiti has its own university. Yeah? And I could bet you the bottom dollar that if you were to meet a Haitian anywhere in your travels, brother man, they got the qualifications. Yeah? They got the qualifications. Whether it's a first degree or a master's or a doctorate, they have the qualifications. I'm not saying that everybody in Haiti has a degree, I'm not saying that. But if we want to look at per capita in terms of, a specific space, how much people in that space have a degree in relation to St. Vincent and Grenadines, Haiti far in front of us. Haiti is far in front of us. So don't tell me about, oh, how much we're going after you, know, and how much we're going after this. That ain't saying nothing. If they come back here and they sing the same stupid duncy head tune, then don't tell me anything about people with degrees. Don't. Brenton is saying, I always say that our lecturers are so disappointed with us that I'm bringing it up here. And I'm gonna freeze myself. Okay. That we're fearful and not critical thinkers. And it's the same way I feel about my students. I tell my students all the time, especially in English B, my job is not to come in here and give you notes or to tell you what a poem means or what an author meant, what a dramatist is trying to do. That's not my job. My job is to give my students the tools they need to analyze a piece. My job is to give them the background that they need to form an opinion. My job is to enlighten them on all aspects related to literature and to literary interpretation. But my job is never to tell them that this poem means X, Y, and Z. And I've had students vex with me, dirty vex, go home, complain to parents because Miss King ain't giving them no literature note to tell them that the book means this and the play means this and the poem means this. No, my job is to help my students to form their own opinions. That's my job as a teacher, to help them to form opinions. So when you go to university and you come back after you've been taught by professors and people with doctorates and all of these things, and you come back and you're singing them duncy head tunes, I can't imagine what your lecturers think of you. I can't imagine, because they would have tried their best to teach you how to think, to teach you to formulate your own opinions. And here you are coming back to behave like some dondo head, like some robot. Now, Shane is saying, never met a Vincent at the school I attended, but met many Haitians in my scholarship cohort alone. And that is simply to say, let me break it down because it had plenty you won't come. Oh, it's Shane saying it. All Shane is saying is this. At his university, he's met Haitians. You know what I mean? No, the Vincentians. And that's the point I'm trying to make to y'all. You would sit down here and you talk about your government wants to use people going off to UE to tell you that you're doing so good. So when I was at UE, it was about 70 something of us, I think it was. And then the year after, because I went to St. Augustine let me see, I went to Kerrville in 2001, 2002, 2002, 2003. So I think in 2002 is when I left to go to St. Augustine, something like that, 2002 or 3. But anyways, the year after, the amount of intentions doubled. It went up to one something. And the government keeps talking about that. Oh, you have a whole people at UA, whole people here. But what are they contributing to the development of the country? And I'm not just talking about physical, but I will mention physical too, but the intellectual capacity. Haiti could brag far more scholars than St. Vincent and Grenadines. Okay? Haitians have been published far more than Vincentians on various subjects. Okay? So when you want to use scholarship to determine the growth of your country, let me tell you something. Come again. Come again. Because you're in half where Haiti is in terms of scholars. But you're far below Haiti in terms of development. And your government don't want you to know this. And you behave as though you don't know it. But I will threaten all your face every time I get a chance. Always sit down here eating rotten whale carcass and want to behave like Harlem poor. Always sit down and not just poor as in money poor, no, but intellectually poor. Like you ain't gonna know. Never go eat no dead animal like wash up on the beach. And if a animal is beached, you don't know why it has been beached. You don't know if it is old and dying from some kind of disease. You don't know what has caused this animal to beach. Don't eat it. Oh, I see Mr. Kenson. Let me bring in him one time because he must have did it with him out a move. Kenson, my love.
Good night, Adriana there.
Me doing a
I'm
try
not too long reach home.
for talk a few things here
Um,
before.
well, well, when I jumped in, I heard you and the whole scholarship issue and so forth. Um, the sad thing is, gee, is that a lot of people who get scholarship, they don't deserve them because they're not scholars. They were given a favor.
Mm. And I will tell you
Yeah.
this much, Kenson. As you said that, when I looked at the numbers that were given out this year, you know, the one question I kept asking myself, who it is Ralph promised a scholarship that wasn't any top ranks.
Hold on. Let me before you go there, and let me say good night to Phyllis and Cramp here. I love how you say who he promised a scholarship because I want people to understand something. It is interesting that it is Ralph that you always have to go to for a scholarship, and people don't see the social the trap that this is because it's a simple thing. Ralph looks at something this morning that kind of stuck with me throughout the day. Um, it's it's technically to say, and it's the same thing I want to say that at the end of the day, you get them to believe in you so bad because Ralph wants everybody to believe that he's so intellectually sound and so on, that he's a god of intellect and so on. So when it comes to anything intellectual, when it comes to scholarships, when it comes to bursaries, when it comes to dealing with anything education, he
He had to
puts
do it.
himself out there exactly. So people technically see him as, oh, this is a god of education. So and this is a god of intellect, and look what he's doing for us. I remember me and somebody had a conversation a few months ago, and he was saying to me, he said, at the end of the day, Ralph has done such a number on Vincentians who should be smart, who went to university and should have sense. Because here is where he has them believing that he gave them a scholarship.
Mm-hmm.
You see? That
Mm-hmm.
he is the one who has them out there in university.
Well, remember,
You know?
Camilo said, if you're qualified for a scholarship, go knock on the comrade door.
Exactly. But why?
Go knock on the
Because
comrade door.
these scholarships, one, Ralph didn't go out and get them. Two, he's not providing the funding for the scholarship. So I don't see why people, when they go to university, they come back, they feel like they owe something to Ralph Gonsalves.
Mm-hmm.
And that is the
That's why
kind
they
of thing
cuss
that
me
they
off
have
and
put
say
in place.
how me ungrateful because I'm not out
But
here
at the
kissing Rouse behind for
yeah,
having studied in Taiwan.
but at the end of the day, Adrian, we know of scholarships that come here that nobody gets.
Oh yeah.
There are scholarships that are put out there, those Chinese scholarship and all of these that people don't ever hear about.
No. You say put out there, they're not put out there.
Hmm? And then you said something when I came in on the live there that tickled me. Where you said so many of them, they go out there and they come back and they what have they done for the country intellectually or otherwise, and they come back here and they behave like robots because they go out there and allow themselves to be trained as such,
Mm-hmm. Well, no.
because a lot of them,
I wouldn't
all
say
them
that
know is the
no, they didn't
bookwork,
allow themselves to be trained as such a tall. Because they go to
No, when I
places.
say that, let me explain it. Let me explain what I
Okay.
mean. I mean, a lot of them go out there and they don't unto themselves go and try to do their own research in a sense and get this stuff. They just go, this is just the mainstream. This is I just get the basic thing to pass. I pass, I come back and say I get a degree and nobody can know. Me want a perfect example. There are some teachers right now in primary schools, right now here, who have replaced teachers. They come in with the degree and support. And I have seen, I am telling you from experience, I have seen where a where I don't want to laugh, eh? I
Take your
wouldn't
life, take
say it.
your life.
But I have seen where no, because I'll tell you this personally, I wouldn't say it here. But I've seen where things had to be ripped out because teachers who have scholarship don't even know tens and ones to teach children. Tens and ones, then I know. Me not laugh, me serious.
Me laugh.
So it comes where you have a whole heap of these people who don't deserve to and the people who, as Shane said, the biggest scholars in St. Vincent, they're not studying on a government scholarship or whatever. You see? And then most of them they go and study, they just go to say may get a degree. You come back here,
Mhm.
they can't even function in the position that will say, okay, let me put my degree to use. Huh?
No, some of them don't even care to try, Kenson. Some don't even care to try. They come home and they
You
just
see?
fall in line. They just fall in line and they just start singing master's tune. And one of the things I was talking about before you came in, as I mentioned the word tune, I was talking
Yeah.
about the whole fact that our culture has been totally destroyed by Ralph Gonsalves.
You see,
Calypso
goodbye.
that we used to use as a form as resistance. Calypso is gone.
Mm-hmm. But Adriana,
You
if you want us, not make her go down the road because that going to take our way up tonight with history and all kind of stuff. Not make her go down there. Because if you want we go there, the whole thing of Baliso Island up for sale and all them things they're going to come in.
No, we talk about them things tonight. That is
But
done for
that's
tonight.
my point. So
That
so
is done
so
for
so when
tonight.
you start to talk about what Ralph has done, Ralph has systematically shut Vincent Chance. He has also systematically have Vincent Chan not thinking. And I again Luke said something this morning where he said Ralph has been able to have his supporters see only in color. So that no
The
matter
what?
what the issue is, Ralph has been able over the years
Mhm.
to train his supporters, get them to
Mhm.
only see any issue in color.
Okay, but Kenton, I blame people like Luke for aiding in that. And when I say people like
Yeah.
Luke, I mean the media. Because gone are the days where you had people like Chester Connell on radio in mornings
Mm-hmm,
actually
mm-hmm,
teaching people. A lot of the
mm-hmm.
words that I learned, well, I shouldn't say a lot, but I learned words from Chester Connell on a morning before I went to school.
Let me
Because, for
talk
instance,
Nina
he
now.
would just bring out a word and he would give the definition of the word and he would, so he educated people.
Mm-hmm,
Now, there are other
mm-hmm.
programs that were on radio as well that sought to educate people. When Luke and other broadcasters sit down on radio and do nothing to um, try to lift discourse in this country, they are to blame. Now, lately, I've been seeing a turn in what they've been doing. I must commend them for
Mm-hmm.
that. I've been seeing a turn in what
Have
they've
to.
been doing,
Have to.
and I appreciate that. But
Mm-hmm.
he cannot blame Ralph alone for where we are now. He has to blame himself also and the other broadcasters who brought us here because the media in any society has an important role to play in not just
They're the fourth
um,
estate, Adriana.
spreading comments, but informing people, giving people something to think about.
Listen, I I was so um pleasantly pleasantly surprised the other day when when the issue of the 4 year old of the child porn thing came up and then the 4 year something. And I was pleasantly giddy when Blaze said, look, this is something we're not going to leave to just be a 9 day start. And he himself is going to make sure that he keep pounding these issues because I always say these are the people who have a platform. You have many followers,
You
especially
have a
young people.
platform.
Bring them up to a level. You have a platform. Deal with this stuff.
Exactly.
But I'm not saying that you're not going to deal with your little joke something now and then because that's what you build on.
But
But
that's
know
why
that
you
you
have
have the platform there.
programming. That's
You
why you have
exactly,
programming.
exactly. You see? So at the end of the day, a lot of people forget what media is for. A matter of fact, as I have I seen it, Adriana, internationally, unless it's no not media that is out of the mainstream, media right now is a big joke.
Well,
Media
Kenson,
right now is a big joke.
I'm glad you're saying that because that is why I keep saying to people that when they come on the protest line, come with their phones charged and come with data. Because we
We change
are
comment that we don't finish. Give me now.
I really just know, we are our own journalists. And there are
Mm-hmm.
things that are happening on the protest line that the traditional media houses here will not carry. But when we come on the protest line and we send out those lives hit thousands,
Mm-hmm.
thousands. The minute
Because
you
if you check
start,
it out,
oh,
the and to straighten what you're saying there, because when you look at the print media, right, they only look for sensational stuff. Some kind of, and if a matter of fact, if you look at much of the print media these days, like source writer, them especially just comments. It's just like
no,
you're reading some sort of comments on the road.
of course. Let me read what Shane said here. So Shane is saying,
Hmm?
um, but we forget that. But yeah, in terms of the comments, that's why it's search that I could have print an article to try to make me look like a horrible teacher. And then when my
Exactly.
students came back with the 100% passes, such I can't bring that
They
story yet.
can't bring it. They can't
They
bring it
can't bring that
because they've
story
not.
yet.
They then show their willful bias.
They can't bring that story yet, but that's okay. That's okay. My students got their passes.
Huh?
We good. Okay,
But
so
what
Shane
Shane
is
is saying is
saying,
very
but
important. It's very
entire
important.
but it's the entire culture, and Chester was on a government station that had responsibility for public information and education. Hot FM isn't.
Exactly.
But does NBC SVG do its job? Now, in the 21st century, it has become the begging question. How NBC could do
Thank you.
job when Ralph sit down on the station every Wednesday morning pushing propaganda as though API is not enough to do that. Ralph is on the
And our
station
cheerleaders,
pushing propaganda, and all the announcers like Calvin and what do you want P name?
Johnny P especially, not
Johnny P.
Calvin. Johnny P especially.
Calvin does the same thing. They
Yeah,
sit
yes,
down
Mr.
there
Prime Minister.
and they say nothing, or yes, Mr. Prime Minister, yes, yes.
Hmm?
Now, how does that help the listening public?
And you're not
And then the fact
challenging
is, the
anything.
leader of the opposition, the leader of the opposition, who's
Cannot.
paid by our taxpayers, just like Ralph is, cannot get a slot on 705 because the management of 705 decided that they would keep the opposition out of 705, which is state owned.
All
And you
handpicked by
want to
Ralph.
tell me this is not a communist country? Hmm?
And guess
Y'all
what?
want to tell me this is
They
not
were
a communist
able
country?
they were able to throw PSU Speaks off of NBC Radio simply because PSU Speaks exposed the nonsense that the government was peddling.
Mm-hmm.
That's all. But to back up now to what you were saying a while ago about persons and so forth, and Ralph literally well, he shut them up in a sense,
Mm-hmm.
because now again, here is where you don't have any kind of um of objectivity, neither on radio or even in the population, because every single, right now, you are labeled. Labels are flying like
Mm-hmm.
crazy. So as long as you speak on any issue and it is not in line with what the government wants you to say, you are automatically opposition. So you're not thinking for
Thank you.
yourself. You're thinking either NDP or ULP. And
Yeah.
people are not seeing that that is one of the major problems that we have, because
Mm-hmm.
that is why, again, people are afraid to come out and protest, because
You're
people don't
gonna be
want to be
labeled.
labeled. People are not even afraid of police come and lock them up, as far as
No,
I'm concerned.
labeled.
People are
But
afraid of being labeled, because if you come out and protest, oh, you're NDP because of NDP protest. Oh, yeah, they come on NDP protest.
but then we don't
Right?
slide that to Kenson because you know when you're labeled, your name goes to Ralph, and then Ralph puts you on the
Exactly.
blacklist. Eh?
But
So we don't slide that.
but you're right, because I've said it before and I'll say it again. What Ralph has done cunningly, he and Julian and them, is to, and they what I don't blame Ralph for them, really and truly. I blame the public servants and civil servants who do the nasty work.
Of course.
Yeah? Because when you have people like the CPO at Service Commission, the head of Service Commission, PSs,
I
and
get
so
I
forth,
get your body CPO just now.
all of these people sit their tails down, know the rules, know better, and allow themselves to be used. And when Ralph done, Ralph put up his hand, but I don't
Did I
have
write
nothing
the
to do with
letter?
that.
I didn't
That
write the
is
letter.
whoever. That is whoever. But that's the point. They I can't interfere with such and such and such and such. Like we don't know better. And then people sit down. This is the worst part of it. People sit down in such deep cognitive dissonance, in such deep denial after they watching the thing, know the thing, and say, but PM say he can instruct such and such, so PM didn't instruct such and such. Yeah? You see what I'm saying? They know what is
Now,
happening in the country.
let me get the joke.
Yeah?
So, some teachers were unlawfully dismissed, right? Those who would have taken the vaccine within the time
Shane on
that
fire
you have
tonight,
set,
boy.
but they still got dismissed.
Hmm.
Now, a little birdie whispered something to me, and if I say it is so.
Right.
A teacher responded to service commissions, responded to the chief personnel officer. So the chief personnel officer and the Ministry of Education now to be telling the teacher that is not the CPO them should be dealing with. Them should be dealing with the Ministry of Education. When did the minister
How?
and the PS in education start hiring teachers? When?
But that's my thing. You see how stupid these people are?
When?
And
Because I don't
Guevara want
know.
to tell us not to cut all in?
I don't know that I have been hired by the Ministry of Education. I was hired by
Put skin
Services
in.
Commission. So any kind of writing me doing in relation to my job, going to Arlene. You're not going to
Yeah, it's a
Rebecca.
secure, you have to
You're not
write.
going to Kim Martin Jack, and you're not going to Coty Skin.
Credit like, you see how these
So
people
now
don't know the
they
job?
want to tell the teachers and them have a correspond with the Ministry of Education.
You see when I say
That
it's
is
based
where we
stupid
are.
people, you see when I
That's
say
where
it's
we
based
are.
stupid people, they head in service commission board items are vexed with me. Eh? You see?
Hmm. That's where we are.
Because you as the CPO, then you tell me you as the CPO don't know your damn job.
Tell me about it. And
Eh?
is that you
You
don't know
tell
the
me
job
that.
or you're willfully aiding the disenfranchisement of these teachers.
But that's the thing. But I wanted to put up that thing that for Shane again to the other comment that for Shane. Shane really on fire tonight with these things here, and he's so correct. He's so correct. Because the public servants are the same ones who allow the unions, as Shane said, to be undermined and killed by the said government, who now turn around and fire the tail.
Okay. Because when the unions telling them all the time, we need to band together, we need to come out, we need to do this, we need to do that. Uh,
Me?
look,
Me not me?
I have said it
Me?
over and over, Kenson, and everybody knows this because I've said it over and over, and I will say it again. My choice for teachers union president was Wendy Bino. I can't hide that. I've said it plainly.
Mm.
But guess what? Oswald Robinson is now the president of the teachers union. You think
Mm-hmm.
that I'm going to be out here undermining Oswald or undermining the
Exactly.
teachers union?
You can
No,
undermine
it
yourself.
is my union. Exactly. This is my union. And if I start undermining Oswald or I start undermining the union, I make it difficult for the union to stand up on my behalf and
Exactly.
be recognized.
But Adriana,
I make it
who is the
difficult
union
for
and who is
them
the
to
lifeblood of the
recognize
union? Who is the union and
members.
the lifeblood of the union? But that's the point. So when people want to sit down, like the other day, I was talking to somebody and they want to tell me, oh, the union are there weak. I don't know where the union. And I'm like, hello, who are you? Who are you?
It's like those who sit
When
down
the
and ask,
unions call, when the union,
what the NDP
where Friday do?
doing?
Yeah,
What the NDP
yeah. But what you do?
doing?
When they
What you
call you out, where
doing?
are you?
Hmm?
Hmm?
What you
Where are
doing?
you? You guys say wanna sit back and say me not right now they go protest with them. Eh? Me have to study my job. Me have my mortgage.
And
Hmm?
then what? Couple months after that, you have no job.
But that's the point.
And then now you want people to stand up with you.
Are you
Now
forced to go
ask them
against
what that
your
is.
own conscience?
That's where we are.
Hmm?
That's where we are.
So when I
That's
said a
where
while
we are.
ago that Real shut down the Calypso, Real shut down Calypso. Look at how blatant Julian and them was. 1 year, one of them persons sing Calypso, and Julian blatantly come out even on radio publicly and say they must ban the Calypso. He didn't
I
hide.
remember that. I
He
remember
didn't
that because
hide.
we're living in a communist state, and I wish I had the
Eh?
photo with the we call it the thing that they burned down the other day, this sign.
Yeah.
Because it's all them signs we see they up still mark ULP and whatever as long after elections,
All of them should be down.
all them need to come down. All them need to
6 weeks
come
after
down.
election, they're
Every
supposed to be
single
down.
one of them, pull them down. I say in
Hmm?
it, pull them down. They ain't supposed to be up.
Because here you have it, Adriana. You, I want somebody to tell me which grassroots organization that we left in 1999 is still alive today. Which one?
Good question. You hear
We're
them talking about
NYC.
they're going to I know going to that. They're talking about they're going to revive NYC. Revive it, you don't kill it. Are you kill
But
it?
they, but G, they should shame to talk about revive because now it's sharp in your face that it's dead under you.
It did under you. Under you.
Hmm?
And remember now, let us not forget Gustavus Stevenson, who they home right now and nursed himself with COVID, stood up in
Mayor McCarthy
Parliament
this
and
evening.
said that the last youth development plan for this country
1996.
was developed under the new Democratic Party. Israel Bruce is who brought up the question, and Gustavus said the last youth development plan was developed under the new
1996.
Democratic Party.
Eh? And
1996.
there has been no amendments made to it. None.
Nothing. Nothing.
Hmm?
But yet, this is the same government that convinced people that they were for young people.
For our
Because
young
what?
people.
And here,
When we hear
how
them
they
talking
convince
about
young
local
people that this
government and this
election.
and that, but it's like,
Hold on now, hold on. This is a crying shame because you're talking about having more and more people coming home from university, right? But what you use to convince young people, the same intellects you talk about that you're for them is a little Buju Banton, a little berries, come what? Appealing to their most basic needs.
need
Basic needs, nucleus needs.
their most base instinct. The need.
Basic needs.
Eh?
That's it. Not no debates to show them what you could do and what you can't do and whatever. No, just bringing some music for them for jumping on the place. And what happened? Young people went out and voted, and that's why when people like me now say, "But wait, I can't be with you anymore," because
Hmm.
I wasn't just jumping up to your music. I was listening to your promises. I heard you, Ralph. I heard you when you said 2 terms and that's it out. And I
Mm-hmm.
voted for you because of
Mm-hmm.
that. I heard
Mm-hmm.
when you promised a fancy hospital. I voted for you because of that. I thought you were going to do it. I
Budget
voted for you when you said you
43.
were going to bring a university campus here to St. Vincent and the Grenadines. I thought you were going to do it, Ralph. But now, as I'm
43.
older and I see the nastiness you are, I see the corrupt man that you are, Ralph Gonsalves, you cannot get my vote.
Exactly. $43.4 million for two hotels to be built. But up to now, you still not hear nothing about hospital.
Curtis is asking what is
Still
in
not hear nothing about
NYC,
healthcare.
darling, National Youth Council. That
No,
should
he
tell
said
you how
where?
far.
Where is the NYC? Where? He's
Oh, sorry,
asking
wait,
where
wait,
is
wait.
it?
Don't say the word. Sorry. I need
Yeah.
new glasses. Leave me alone.
So you, so you, so you have no, and I'm glad you brought up this thing about the whole college thing, because real for them has killed the whole culture of St. Vincent. I was talking to Bashi last night when I posted the video on my page pertaining to the selling of the island and so forth. Look at how these people come. That your heritage. I asked Bashi, I said, boy, what heritage are we going to have left for our children's children, and even for ourselves when these people finish with us? Because you done shut up the Calypsonians. That social commentary that used to keep people aware of what was going on. That used to have Mitchell and them on the toes. You make sure you come and you systematically kill it because what? A person don't want to sing something because you know you're not going to get picked for semis, you know you're going to get picked for final. And you sing certain things, no matter how nice the tune is, you know you're not going to win. Right? You end up, you come, you have people now believing that you are able to deal to to dictate their conscience for them.
Mm-hmm.
You come, you had them believing that they live on they live on the plantation so much that laws from 1951 and the 1770s are applicable for today. You turn when the ancestral persons from here, yeah, when Eustace, a black man, said, "Let us give them honorary citizenship," you said, "No, no, I have to be crazy. They're gonna come, they're gonna take our island and take our job."
Hold on,
Bam, you
Mackinson.
kill that.
Hold on.
Mm-hmm.
Hold on. Mm.
Mm-hmm.
This is not the rant, you know.
No, no, I'm just trying to show how all of these things tie into what you said
Good,
before.
good.
You see?
But them are things that are on the agenda, okay? This is the classroom here. All right, it's not the rant. Take time. Oh my goodness. But no, on a serious note, those two things that you just mentioned there are two things that I had to expound upon tonight.
Mm,
That whole issue with the things for sale and the protest.
mm-hmm,
Well, I would deal with
mm-hmm.
the islands for sale first of all. Now
Right.
we have the head of Invest SVG coming out and saying quite cavalier.
Uh,
You know, it was
arbitrarily?
like
Arbitrarily? Yeah, yeah,
like
no more
come
arbitrary?
on. You know, we're doing this. So she comes out playing. She says, well, you know what? We're looking at some islands to sell, and we want to sell these islands to people in Dubai and wherever. And Vincentians, I don't know if Vincentians heard her, or if it is that Vincentians are still in a state of stupor, because me not hear no outrage. And this again, Kenson, goes back to what I said about media. Carlos James comes out, and Carlos James says we're going to have
Carnival in the metaverse.
carnival in the metaverse. So where does talk radio go this morning, Hot FM?
Carnival in the
Carlos
metaverse.
James and the metaverse. Why not bring in the woman from Invest SVG or the nasty Minister of Finance and ask them what they mean by they're going to sell islands to people in Dubai and wherever? That should have been the topic this morning. But again, we got distracted and we're talking about carnival in the metaverse.
But Jay,
Meanwhile, might not have no land here to
well,
walk around on.
I
Because
was
when the
I
citizens
was just
start
going to
coming in,
say I was just going
mhm,
to say pause on the islands for now. How many budgets have you kept on hearing Ralph saying? Not even Camilo or any one of them. Ralph saying we sold some land.
yeah,
You don't know
and it never
where the lands
released.
themselves. You don't know who buy them. You don't know the state of these people who buy them. You don't know anything about these people who buy
But
the
guess
land. You
what?
don't know what land
Guess what,
sold.
Kenson? Guess what? Guess what? Guess what? NDP selling passports. Yeah.
Gee.
A
So
whole
if you sell,
election.
but let me say this: if you just sell a passport, your man might just want a citizenship for something. Although that is not what CBI is. But let's go with their rationale that they put to the people that they treat them with.
Mm-hmm.
If I sell a passport to a man, he doesn't have to live here. He could just have a Vincentian citizenship when he ready. He could come because he wants to breeze or something and so forth. He doesn't have to live here or own anything
Yeah,
here
but
per se.
Kenson, hurry up there, man.
But when you turn wrong and you sell somebody land, they will come our own.
Yeah, but
Eh?
Kenson, you missed a very important point there. You missed a very important point.
Mm,
Ralph Gonsalves has Vincentians believing that a citizen by investment project, once implemented by the NDP, is going to see them losing their lands and whatever else. And this
foolish.
again has to do with why I keep saying that when these people come from university, it's like they still dunce. Because these are the people who should be saying to other Vincentians, not just me, just not just you, that guess what? If you're a citizen of CARICOM, so if you get a citizenship of St. Kitts by CBI, or Grenada by CBI, or Antigua by CBI, you could buy lands in St. Vincent. You don't need to get citizenship again in St. Vincent to buy lands here.
Exactly.
But we're not educating people on these things. These are the kind of discussions that should be having on radio to tell people, look, in a matter if somebody gets through the CBI thing, citizenship elsewhere,
Look,
them
Guevara
to
just
come
made a point that
in
I was going to make
land.
there. My next point that I was going to make, look, Guevara just made it. And I made that point last night again with Bashi in discussion. And let me read Guevara thing where he said, if they are planning to sell islands to people in Dubai, not one of you set foot on them again after the sale. Atlantis Union Island pending. All Vincent shall receive the silhouette. And that's the perfect point.
That's it.
And I said to Bashi, I said, we will no longer be St. Vincent and the Grenadines because we not own the island no more. And
Okay.
when which set of laws are you going to set for that person after they come and buy the island? It's theirs, not for you. They don't pay
And
for
that's
it.
why I told
So you
somebody
no
this
longer
morning
have
now.
any sovereignty
I said
over
the
it.
woman said islands. And his thing was, oh, which one of the we little islands? Me say little islands. I said the woman say islands. So as far as I am concerned, if somebody call a price right enough for Ralph for fatten his pocket and get out of here for St. Vincent,
You done.
don't have never sell St. Vincent.
But I told Akbashi, I said that to Bashi last night. I
No dog
said
Ralph
these
ever sell.
people care nothing about you, the people. Look,
And
they're looking
all
to
of us,
sell our
by the time we
heritage.
said cuddled over the river, I try to find spot for live pond.
G, I told Bashi, I said, look here. You might hear when you do look so much foreigners and thing on here that we don't even have a local government anymore.
Exactly. And then
At
mind
the
you
end of
know,
the day,
look when we finding out that Baliso done sell one time. Till
you see,
Baliso they for sell a second time by whoever
you
own a
see,
Baliso. Up to now we don't know who own Baliso. Somebody gone.
eh?
Ralph and them done sell Baliso.
But
And
Baliso should not even have been thought to be sold.
Baliso
That
is
has
a
too much
home
historical
where our
significance for us.
Garifuna people last stayed before they were moved to Belize. And after the same, Ralph said to us that we can't welcome the Garifuna here because if they come here, they're coming for we lands and they're coming for we jobs.
But here's the
Ralph
thing, Adriana. Who is our national hero?
apparently a Portuguese because Ralph said yes, descendant of Chateauye, so Chateauye have to be Portuguese. So Portuguese is we national hero. You ask me.
Because, well, you're right, because it's
If
Chateauye.
Ralph
We
said he
have
had
some that
descendant of Chateauye,
Chateauye.
Kenson, you know, have to be a Portuguese as we national hero.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
Because if Chateauye is our national hero, Chateauye was a Garifuna. Nobody no can tell me about Carib. Chateauye was a Garifuna.
I don't know if Chateauye was Garifuna. Ralph does not
And,
look like that to me. Okay.
and the thing is this. If you are saying that Chateauye is our national hero, what kind of respect do you have even for our national hero and support by doing something like that? By literally selling off the heritage of.
Yeah. That's the
Hmm?
last part. That's where they were exiled to before they were shipped off to Belize. And you take the
Gee,
whole
that should have
and
been a
Vincent
place that
and
was
Hamza
developed.
house in an uproar.
That should have been a
Vincent and
place that was
Hamza.
should have been developed minimally. And I say minimally in the sense that you don't want to harass nothing much on it, but just develop enough where people can, if you want to come and you sit underneath a little something here, so while you learn about the place and you hear about the history of the place, fine.
But that's the thing. We're talking about tourism. Why is it
What about
you
Board
have
Island?
Baliso and you
What
not
about
have no
Board Island?
ferry? You not have no ferry taking tourists from St. Vincent to Baliso so that they could touch that sacred soil. But then again, it's okay
Adriana,
because it's not sacred anymore since you don't sell it off already and they for sell again. It's okay, Ralph.
but not just that, it's because we don't know our damn history, and so we have no pride in our heritage of who we are.
None.
And that's why we are could have behaved how we have behaved, because if Vincent knew who they were and where they
Mm-hmm.
came from and the people, the warrior people that they came from, I think we are could they get on with this stupidness we're getting on with, and the police them acting the way they do.
Thank
Eh?
you. And that is why we have a dunce as a police commissioner who could send people out in 2021 for take away drums from
Mhm.
protesters.
Imagine a
Drums.
1770s piece of
No, this has nothing to
legislation
do with that.
that
This have
banned.
nothing to do with that legislation.
Eh? No, but I'm
Kenzie, this have
saying, but
nothing
I'm
to do with that.
saying,
This
but
just
I'm
have to do
saying,
with
G.
Duncy headness. This
But
just
but
have to
I'm
do with
saying too.
Duncy headness.
You think Colin just come with that? You think Colin know anything about a piece
Yes,
of
Colin just come
legislation
with that
that he
because
wanted
Colin
to
done.
talking about? What he want to talk about?
Colin just
John.
come with that tech with the drum thing because Colin is dunce
Hmm?
and Colin does not understand the significance of drums and drumming to African people. Colin is dunce enough. You leave me alone.
Well, again, well that I can agree with you on. But here's the other thing, eh? We talking about Mali. So what about Border Island? What
Okay.
about the other islanders? So where they literally go and kill out where they have to kill out and think to sell
I
it.
mean, Palm Island is privately owned, right? You have Young Island, you have Baliso. What else? Next thing you're going to hear, they're going to take the Tobago keys, chop them up. So you own a piece, you
Yes,
own a piece, you own a piece, and then we can't go down to the Tobago keys anymore.
yeah. You don't care go Mustique without invitation.
Oh yes, we forget Musty. Come on, forget Musty.
You don't care go without invitation. Can one just
And
know
here,
might come the same thing.
here is sad thing, you know. I want to run it for the on this live here. Because when I said about selling off
Well,
Beckway, we
let
seem to
me.
forget that we've had inhabited islands that have been sold. So
Yes,
selling Beckway and selling St. Vincent is not an impossible thing for government to do.
but that's the
It's just to
thing
sign the papers. It's just
because
to
here you
sign the
are, but
papers.
in Beckway, how many Beckway people knew about that place that I talk about the other day that they're selling out? Um, something reef they call it reef, something reef in Beckway. Where they selling lands over I
But I
spoke
tell
about it
all
about a
already,
few weeks ago. Eh?
when you see that move was made to send Julian down to the Grenadines, I said, look out for new neighbors. I said it. I said, look out for
Exactly.
new neighbors. I said it.
And
That
here's
means
the
you
thing.
send Julian down in the Grenadines for sit down for lie down on the beach.
Exactly.
It's to
Anyway,
make
Julian, they
beautiful.
look and follow the money. Some nastiness going on there.
Look, tell me. So don't
Eh?
tell me no that you
Israel
now
Roberts
decided to sell
definitely.
to people in Dubai. Please.
Eh?
Please.
But gee, this is something that you're missing too. You remember at the last Dubai something day, Ralph was doing a sales pitch for Eloise.
Of course.
So if Ralph was doing a sales pitch for Eloise, listen what the head of Invest SVG say. The head of Invest SVG say, we have islands to sell and we're going to look in Dubai for persons who will be interested in buying it. So you think you think the money they come into the treasury or
No,
anything for
China not
St.
looking to
Vincent?
buy enough. She said they already have
Eh?
people in Dubai who are asking, who are
Who
interested.
are
They're not
asking
gonna look.
exactly. True.
People in
True.
Dubai are already
Eh?
asking.
But Dre, you think the money they are for St. Vincent? If you do a sales pitch, big stuff for Eloise, where think the money
Huh.
they for?
That's what me tell you, you know, hear me don't already, Kenson. Anyhow, you see one them come and give Ralph an offer for St. Vincent that is good enough to fill his pocket so he could tell we bye bye. Or they could stop them cuss and carry on. Me gone.
Yeah.
Ralph is going to take
But
that
Dre,
money more serious.
you know realize something too. Ralph doesn't care anything about St. Vincent in this storm of office. If
Oh,
anything
Ralph,
goes,
did
because
he ever?
what?
Did he ever?
Ralph always, well, that is it, but it's more blatant now. Because here you are, this is a man who knows he's not going back there as Prime Minister, either through age
Mm-hmm.
or being voted, right? And he doesn't care. Here
No, he
he is
does.
showing Vincent, I'm doing all of these things blatant in the face, and all of you sit down and defend it and
Can't do
listen to
anything.
her.
I would
I
fire
listen. I
teachers and
took
then
this
tell you
video to send for
plainly,
you. Eh?
I bringing back my COVID sick
Yes,
parliamentarians to parliament.
yes,
You watch me. I
yes.
go do what I have to do.
And I have this video I have to find again to send for you. It's from a movie. But the guy he made a statement where he said it was a 1980s movie. But he made a point in the movie where he said people create these he said it's like these inmates who they have allowed to build their own prison, right? Look, guards, the inmates are the guards. and they build their own prison, and they are so proud of their own prison that they don't even realize they are inmates, and they don't even care that they are inmates. So it's the same thing. Apply it here now, where Vincentians are losing everything, but Ralph has them convinced that, oh, it's not for you. You losing everything is for you. You know what I mean? So guess what? Defend you losing everything. Hmm?
Mm-hmm. But when I was talking to this afternoon, I said that people, who was a friend of mine, I said that Vincentians are now at the point where they are defending their poverty. They're
Yes.
defending the ones who are keeping them in poverty, and they're defending their poverty. So, in other words,
Give me a second,
when they go
Andrew.
back to the whole idea of the whole young people now just being forced into road work. Also, what happened? Wrong with that? She get a job. Now you 80 something, 70 something, you'd go up doing road work. Your young son, well, grandson, great grand, whatever. That's what you have for them. So it's okay. It's okay. And we're always
Yeah,
defending
Andrew.
these things.
Yeah, Dre, but here you have Camilo them laughing at Vincentians again in the budget, telling them about temporary jobs, and short-term jobs.
And they
Eh?
jump up for this. And he talk about these things rather than talking about them as though, well, this is how we're going to develop. This is going to be a job increase. So you're putting money to develop a hotel, and somehow I am supposed to be jumping up because a couple of masons going get a work, a couple
Exactly.
laborers going get a work. But then when the real money start pouring in now, when it comes to
Who get any
managers
work?
and
Who get
HRs
any
and
work?
whoever else, no, that's not for intention. We else we went out and we call in Calico, we went clean fish.
Yes. Yes.
We went clean fish for rainforest.
Uh, look,
Jump up
Shane said it again.
all to the top
Vincentian
for that.
poverty has always been a trophy. It's always
Look,
been a trophy.
today I gone on St. Vincent Times. They were talking about some houses that are going to be opened, well, handed over, whatever. I mean, and I said to them, I said, imagine these people getting houses before the people over the river. And you know, once my name done something, people coming, eh? So
Mm.
one girl come, oh, she happy them getting the house, like me stop she from being happy. Then another one
You know
come,
what I
oh,
mean?
them houses that they giving now were built or being built before the one over the river. So I had to say to her, darling, the house is over the river. The Trinidadians come, them done set up the houses and them, and they don't gone back. The house of them they out there under lock and key.
Mm-hmm.
Lock and key. While 2 and 3 families, they're in a one household, sheltering.
But Jimmy
So they
glad you
changed
mentioned
out
this.
the government shelters. So now they are the 2 and 3 families under one house roof and still not open the house and give them the house.
But glad you mentioned that
And
because
Siobhan, no, just
here
a
no.
minute. Siobhan mentioned something to me this week. She
Mm-hmm.
was explaining to me, this is Senator John,
Mm-hmm.
that you have a situation where, let's say for instance, somebody's roof was damaged, right? Partially damaged. So it's just
Mm-hmm.
like a galvanized, or maybe 2 sheets or 3 sheets, whatever it is. The
Right.
government is giving that person a 3 sheet of galvanized. Not,
Mm-hmm.
they're not repairing the roof, They're just repairing the piece with damage, which means now
But
that in the next couple of
you're
years,
lucky.
that person's house roof having been compromised by the volcanic eruption, those sheets of galvanized and whatever is there, they are going to start rusting. The boards and weaken. So in the next couple of years, those people would have to replace their entire house roof from their pockets, even though the government has money now to replace their entire house roof.
Good.
But my
But you're
question
lucky.
is,
You're lucky for that because
why aren't these people standing up?
But Ralph told them plain up. All who don't want to move because remember I spoke about the person who said they had their 5 bedroom house because it's a big family and you're giving them a 2 bedroom no one they don't want it so they said they're going to do it out of
Mhm.
the pocket. I mean he plainly said that he's not going to give them no money to fix the house.
Mhm.
It is not as
Mhm.
if you move the people out of the red zone. You move them from the red zone to the
And
red
here now,
zone.
this is monies that came in through foreign aid.
That came in for that, and you
Now
said
they telling us,
plainly that
oh,
you're not doing it.
them only have 50 million left.
Where the money go?
and making big claim. Oh, 50 million of work will be done, but I 50 million will left back.
Exactly. Because where did the money go? How many houses can you show that, and how many people have you relocated to show us where the money
Okay, I
went?
have,
Because one, the
hold
house is
on.
up at
I have a call here from Mr. Sheen.
mm.
Why are you echoing, Shane? I can hardly hear you. Oh, it's probably the headphones. I'm not sure. Can see you could hear?
Yeah, I'm hearing him. I'm hearing him.
Okay. Calling from where? Where are you calling from? Well, thank you. I don't blame you one bit. We feel the same.
Do you hearing me? I'm not hearing anything there again. Just started back to here.
Oh, lost it there, Shane. Okay, I'm not sure what happened there.
I'm not hearing him.
Me
But
neither.
we to cut him off because them diaspora people always pulling on your punch.
It ended. I'm not hearing him.
I'm not hearing him. But the thing is, Dre, is that um at the end of it all, these houses that were built in Orange Hill, then I come out of the money that was sent to the government to put people to relocate people. Yeah. Also, the World Food Program has given monies to give to people that we all for them now using for political mileage.
Oh God,
Have people tripping over one another.
shameful, eh?
Look, you see the shameful state of poverty here. Ralph himself admitted we have extreme poverty in Semin. Some people still
Extreme
want to tell
poverty.
you that we're not poor.
But guess what?
Eh?
People going to cost me and you when we say Vincent are live in poverty. They would cost the two of
Pause.
us when we say that. Hmm? But Ralph said so. And not just that Ralph says so alone on the cancer. Is that they're feeling it for
Yep.
themselves.
But
Hmm?
that's the point.
They are feeling
That's
it
the
for
point.
themselves. And they can't say no. They cannot say no. So I don't understand what is the whole thing. Shane, try back now because I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. Yeah. Now on the whole issue of protest, and I agree with Guevara to a bit, Well, Shane, we have to so we're exploring different things this year, different things, different things, different things. So yes. In terms of the protests, one of the things I want to get through to people's head before time is up, because we're running out of time here now, is the whole idea of permission. We keep saying it over and over and over again. You do not need to give Colin John, Commissioner of Police, any sort of um what's the word I'm looking for here, Kenson?
Any farmer heads up? None.
Exactly. You don't need to give Colin any heads up to say, oh, next week Thursday I'm going to be protested in front of Kingston Hospital, or next week I'm going to, or tomorrow I'm going. No, you don't need to do that. Our laws state plainly that you have the right to protest. We have signed enough conventions that say we have the right to protest for Colin John to know these things. But I keep saying to y'all, Colin John is a dunce. The commissioner of police is a dunce. And because the commissioner of police is a dunce, he does a lot of duncey head things, and he gives
It done on a
duncey head
tool.
orders, and
It done on
duncey
a
head
tool.
police officers go and they follow the duncey head orders. And that's why you see them arresting people and they can't go to court with the matters, because a judge, a magistrate would look at them and see all the duncey headness. But let me remind you something else too. Every arrest, and this is why Kenson could tell you this, I've said it to other people. Me not fight on no ground level. This fight that I'm in is not on a ground level kind of thing. And that's why you see I don't get bothered with people, or by people like Colin and Cluston France and so forth, because all they're doing is aiding what we're doing. Sean,
You
Mr.
talk,
Sean, Shane,
you talk about the class San Francis to take me phone?
yes, yes, Shane, Shane. Okay, this is weird. No, no, I'm not hearing you at all.
You hear me?
I'm
Yeah,
hearing you
hearing you.
better.
Okay. I called in to tell Guevara who I'm going to call in the morning, but before I get to that,
So when you
I
calling
would like
here
to
for
finish
Cos Guevara?
well, if he did it in front of everyone, I'm going to do it where everyone can see it. But before I get to that, I will finish my thought. I was saying, I don't know why the thing cut out, but I was saying that Vincentians do not see themselves of any consequence in this world, but they are not realizing when we're passive about what happens with Baliso, somewhere that the Vincentian government should be in the position to buy that property because it's privately owned and make it a national park and a historic location, not just for St. Louis, it's a regionally and internationally significant location to Caribbean history and to Black history
Mm-hmm.
globally. And when the Garifuna are in Honduras and they are using the day that they arrived at Honduras as a significant date of commemoration yearly, and they are not. The role of Simonson in their identity is a source. It's not a part of their identity, and there is no real connection there. And of course, phobia was used to cut Vincentians off from having any connection with Garifuna people. But if Vincentians really travel, and when I say travel, I mean travel outside of Brooklyn too, because they come to New York and they don't know America, they will see how big the Garifuna community is in this
Mm-hmm.
country and in the rest of the world, and they would understand the significance of one Garifuna culture in Black history and also in academia, in the study of history in the region and in this whole entire hemisphere, and they will understand the significance that's of the role of St. Vincent in that, and they would understand the significance, therefore, of everything in St. Vincent that is a point of reference to Garifuna origins and Garifuna history. Vincentians do not understand that, and it goes back to the lack of education and what I have always said from the beginning, and people have attacked me, including some of the people who now side with me: illiteracy. It boils back down to that. Illiteracy is not the inability to read. Illiteracy is the ignorance of the things that could be read.
Thank you.
Vincentians do not understand their significance, and therefore they will never see the significance of Baliso being sold to a private investor for
Thank you,
pennies
Shane.
on what kind of income that island could make even from just sitting there. They don't
Mm-hmm.
understand that. So your argument is gonna be in vain tonight. So what I say, y'all should make a nice bowl of porridge and go in bed because nothing is gonna come out of this. Because Vincentians do not see their worth, and until that changes, all of this will be in vain, and there will be no point. You'll just be empty drums in town.
Well, you
Drum
see, I want to
if the
say it wouldn't be
police,
of no use because there's some people who would actually meet us and say, you know what, thank you for that. Thank you for that bit
yeah,
of
there are people who will
information.
say that, but
So
there are drops in the bucket, and the bucket is
you don't, you
leaking,
don't, we don't
just like the
talk to the
bucket's
people
foot
who
above
want to remain
Argyle.
on the plantation. That's not what it's about.
Because
Those who
here's
want
the
to
thing,
remain, let them.
that the people who would hear this will respond that we are in the majority, but it's a passive majority, and the passive majority is useless. And that is the issue because everyone's thinking about their mortgage. You know, we stopped build house, everybody borrowed now. The culture has shifted so drastically in St. Vincent from the time you can't sing. People, you all talk about the calypso. People used to be leaving those staging calypso and going holding high positions in the government in St. Vincent.
Mm-hmm.
I never knew there was another way of living. We used to see that way of living was on TV. We didn't think it was real. And I had to call in and talk about Haitians. Vincentians, I keep saying something. I said it last year and I repeated it this January. St. Vincent is Haiti with hoop earrings. People laugh, but I don't think people get the
Yeah,
full meaning of that. Hoop earrings. Who put in hoop earrings? And this is not to demean black culture and black women.
the
This
ratchet.
is to show the caricature. Yes, it's a caricature. It's satire. The ratchet will put in the earrings to take and distract. She's usually loud to distract from the reality of who she is.
Mm-hmm.
That is same as the Grenadines. You are putting in the gold hoop earrings that are not even real gold. They're just painted to look shiny, to distract from the fact that you're already below Haiti because even though your GDP is higher, your actual potential is lower.
How you
And what
sure with
has
GDP is
Haiti there
higher?
is them waiting for the right leadership to come. You are in a position where you don't even look for the right leadership yourself. Haiti is willing to kill people to get rid of people so they could get proper leadership. You
Mm-hmm.
don't even acknowledge
Mm-hmm.
that you have strong leadership yet. So you
Exactly.
guys are below Haiti. I am at an Ivy League institution. I would say it every day because it's an offense to people who are uneducated, but I am at an Ivy League institution, and this is not about me. This is about the fact that I'm a Vincentian there, Vincentian born, regardless of my citizenship. And I would hear that they're Vincentians, then I would never meet them. And I was in a scholarship cohort, 20 people within the school, within my university. This is one of the top institutions in the world, top 20, top 10, depends on whose list you go on. And I'm in that scholarship cohort of 20 something students, top of the top. And I was the only Vincentian there, and there were at one point 45 Haitians. 4 to 5 Haitians.
There you
I'm
go.
not talking about in the school. I'm talking about in the top of the top. In
And
this
that's the
group
point I
of
was
young
making
people.
earlier that we cannot compare ourselves to Haiti when we're talking
Exactly.
about
They're
scholarship.
not ready.
Hmm?
Vincentians are not ready to compare. And here's what we sit down and we sit down with our mouths open for the crumbs to fall because we keep bragging about Vincentians going to on scholarships, but we do not evaluate what Vincentians have
What they bringing
access to.
back?
They're intelligent Vincentian young people who have the brains and the ability to go to the top institutions in this world. I would never think of doing it because they're not willing to demean
There you
themselves
go.
to climb those steps. And unless they get put onto program, and there's a program in Barbados every year that very few people know about, the STEM program that is now sending off Vincentian young people. And this is not to discredit them, but a lot of them are in the elite. A lot of them are from family backgrounds that may not be able to afford that kind of education worth hundreds of thousands of dollars, but they have the avenues to get there on their own. Yet they get help. But the majority
All
of
right,
school
Shane.
Vincentians that
We'll have to cut you off
that
now, caller.
no, I'm sorry, but I have to let people know what is going
Yeah.
on. You can't
Oh,
run. You
we're
can't
going
run.
back to our
I know your time
protest.
running out, but
We're going back to the
thank you for
protest. We'll
taking.
continue this discussion another time.
I'm
I'll
sorry for taking
moderate
up
your
your whole
behind
time, but
tonight.
I just want Vincentians to understand that your value, and this ties into the whole reason why you have to sit down for
Mm-hmm.
months now convincing people to come and
All right.
protest.
Thank
You
you.
don't see your value. Change
Guevara say
that.
cut him off. Cut him off.
Bye.
Guevara say cut him off.
Which after the next program.
Later. Yeah, people. So the whole idea of the protest action and the police showing up and just whoever you behave and just basically showing the entire world what St. Vincent and Grenadines has become. So, as I was saying, I am not mean mm, I am not on any ground level fight with Colin. You see,
Mm-hmm.
Colin and Ralph want to come out on the protest line and behave or big and bad and make people want to go and maybe want to stay at home. That's what they want to do. They want to come out and intimidate because they're still having this fight here on this battlefield. My fight is not on this battlefield anymore. As a matter of fact, it has never been on this battlefield. And that's why it's easy for me to ignore certain people who come and say certain foolishness about me. And that's why from the very beginning, I've been saying to you, when you come on the protest line, have your phones charged, have your data on. You think that is supposed to show people in St. Vincent what happening? No, darling. I'm not telling you to do that so you could broadcast to Vincentians. So you could tell Vincentians what happening in Kingston. No, that is so that you could broadcast to the world, to show the world what is happening in Kingston, St. Vincent. No, there's some persons who would say that every nation is sovereign. They have the right to decide what happens within their country. And that's true. That is absolutely true. But you know what is truer than true? The fact that St. Vincent and Grenadines is a developing country. And because we're a
Mm-hmm.
developing country, we are easily manipulated in terms of aid and almost every other thing, but primarily aid. Most countries, most international organizations, if not all, well, of course, for those who have the same sort of ideology like Ralph, but most countries and most institutions will not lend money or give aid to a country where there aren't democratic practices. And the
Mm-hmm.
more Colin sends his police on the protest line to behave in unlawful ways, and the more we broadcast those ways to the world, is the more people are going to start looking closer and closer to this Ralph Gonsalves administration and to where their money is going. Someone just
Mm-hmm.
mentioned Jamaica, that the IMF ripped Jamaica apart, and that's a fact. Years ago, when crime and so was off the chain in Jamaica, you think it bad now? It ain't bad now. Off the chain. Police were doing whatever they wanted to do. Jamaica was forced to clean up their act to ensure that they were still able to get foreign aid. So when you come on a protest line, you're not coming to broadcast to you people and them back in Spring Village and down in Union Island, what happening here in Kingston. No, your duty, because Searchlight and them ain't going to do this. Your duty is to be the citizen journalist. Your duty is to broadcast to the world all the unlawful things that the government and the police are doing. And so when you see the police come on the protest line and they start harassing somebody, go up to them with your phone. Go up to them with your phone. And anybody who comes on the protest line, be prepared to be arrested. Don't come on the protest line if you're afraid of being arrested. Because when you show up on the
Exactly.
protest line, police come to arrest you. I want you to ask the police one question. Why am I being arrested? That's it. I don't want you to fight
And
them.
and and let me say here.
I just want you to ask one question that all those around you with a camera, with a phone could pick up. Why am I being arrested? Because I could bet any money they will not have a reason why you are being arrested. And if their reason is for being a part of an illegal procession or illegal meeting, then
Laugh.
good. We need to have that sent around the world. Because let
Because
me tell
I
you something, like I
and
just said to you, that whole thing of procession and meeting, and Kenson said it earlier, that is from way back when. That has nothing to do with protest. Our constitution came and threw that straight out of the door.
Mhm.
All the conventions that we signed on saying that we're going to maintain democratic practices in St. Vincent and the Grenadines have that in there, that we are free to protest. Now, when the police arrest for this, like I said, this is going to be broadcasted all around the world. Now, if the police assault you, defend yourself. Because as a citizen of St. Vincent and Grenadines, you have the legal right to defend yourself against anybody who assaults you, even police officers. Because when a police officer comes to carry out their duty, they are supposed to do so lawfully. First of all, they're supposed to get a lawful order. And secondly, they're supposed to carry out the lawful order in a lawful manner. So if a police officer assaults you, you have the right to defend yourself. Now, just ensure that when you're defending yourself, you're returning equal force. That's all. If a police officer come and decide to come and chuck you off or whatever the case is, chuck him back off. Just don't take up nothing and hit him, because then a judge will tell
By
you
all
no,
means,
body. But you have
by
the
all
right to
means.
defend yourselves. Okay?
And
Don't let
and let me say this further.
If a police officer comes and they give kindness, return kindness. Don't let
And
no
let me say this
abuse.
further.
No. With that being said, I'm not saying that you must go on a protest line to look for bacchanal, because you're going to conduct yourself lawfully. So they're arresting you. Ask them why you're being arrested. They can't tell you that they're arresting you for resisting arrest, because an arrest is not simply taking somebody and dragging them around to the barracks. They are supposed to tell you why
Now
they
Shane, so
are
they like talk when they're in their own place. They now
the
arguing on talk.
reason for your arrest, tell you you're under arrest before they consider that you are resisting arrest. And all of these things are human rights issues. You can't fight those issues here with Ralph and Colin. You have to expose them to the world. So let Colin keep sending police to arrest people, because every single arrest that Colin makes sends St. Vincent further and further down, and gives more attention, or causes more attention, to St. Vincent Grenadines and to the Ralph Gonsalves administration. And that is the realm we're taking this fight. This fight is not for the Ralphites. Okay? Right. So Brenton is saying that the police should say to you why you are being arrested. And we know Brenton Smith is a station sergeant. That they are supposed to do so by law. They are supposed to do this. They are supposed to tell you why why you're arresting them. Guevara came to the stuff in his face. He said, "I don't eat how much chicken,
Me
how
the
much
stuff it,
meat
me
now."
the stuff in my face. You think
Kenzie,
I know
not
me I try
hearing
to
you.
talk? You the fan monologue? Eh?
Kenzie, you're muted.
How me muted? Me not muted?
Not hearing you.
I am not muted.
Not hearing you.
Look me unmuted. You
Like
not
Shane.
must hear me. Me show the people them a hear me.
Kenzie, not hearing you.
Shane is hearing me. You,
I'm not
Adriana, not
hearing
hear
you.
me. Adriana always with pushy thing at the way got over Belmont over there. When I walk proper.
Okay, I
Over
hear you
over the
now.
so. Eh.
I hear you now. A shame. I was, for whatever reason, the Bluetooth speaker picked you up, and it was on low. So when I look at it, I said on. So when I turn it off, I hearing you.
Oh lad. Yeah, so I was saying with all that you said there, one of the things and Guevara as a lawyer and Brendan Smith as a station
Sorry,
sergeant
Guevara.
can bear
Guevara
me
said
witness
you're
there.
trying to make a point. Guevara wasn't hearing him. I was not hearing him.
So here's the thing. Um so here's the
Oh
thing
God, Shane, don't
that
shame me up to my man. I wasn't hearing
is
him.
that where your human rights come in also and your constitutional rights, and this is where the criminal code and all of that come in. You are not supposed to move with any police unless they can satisfy the criminal code and the constitution as to why you should give up your right to freedom to them.
Mhm.
Yeah. And as I said, Guevara as a lawyer can bear me on this. And
And Brenton is also on the live.
Brenton is here. When a police come to you and tell you that you're under arrest, they must be able to tell you why you are under
Mhm.
arrest. Are you a part of an investigation? What law have you broken? Most time, if possible, what section of the law? You are being arrested under. I remember when the officers came to me the day at my home here and said that they come they was sent for me. I was like, you sent for me for what? Am I under arrest? The mistake he made was to say no, I'm not under arrest. So I said, then why did you come for me?
Mm-hmm.
And their thing was CID sent them for me. But I said, but if CID want me, CID know where to find me. So why CID have to send you for me for what reason? They don't
Mm-hmm.
know. So I said, if you don't know why you're going to arrest me, then why are you here? Because then did I break a law? We don't know. Did I commit a crime? No. Am I implicated in any crime? No. Am I part of did my name come up as part of an investigation? No. So then why are you
You
here?
must have come with them.
So then they made a call, and I have to remind people of this. They made a call. And the call, I heard the person when the person spoke, and they said, well, we are here by Mr. King, and he's asking why he's going to be detained, and we can't tell him. So what is the reason? And he
Mm-hmm.
was told, tell him that he is going to be arrested for breaking various parts, various sections of the Cybercrime Act. And I said, various sections?
Mm-hmm.
How much
Well, name
sections?
them.
One, two, five, 10,
Name
the
them.
front, the back, the middle, what section? And they
Name
couldn't
them.
say. And I said, I'm not moving. I am not moving until you can satisfy the criminal code and the constitution as to why you're going to move me. Why am I supposed
Mm-hmm.
to give up my right to freedom to you?
Mm-hmm.
And so when I told them this, they and then this was the part where I decided to really get serious. It was when they told me, well, I have 20 minutes to go and prepare myself. Before you even finish, I say, or what? Or what?
That's like when they came to pick me up the Friday
Because
and want
because
to tell
because I
me
said,
that they're going to come in my house by whatever means possible. So I said to them, well, make sure when you come in here, you come in here through legal means because I'm not opening my
yes,
door. Hmm? Um,
because here they
I
are.
want to go in the bathroom and then police officers are going to be in my house, roaming around my house. When? How?
Because here they are now. Here they are now, right? And I said, so you're giving me an ultimatum? No. I said, because none of you putting your hands on me. The fact remains, you can't tell me why you're here to detain me. One. Then you're going to tell me you're giving me time to get prepared. So I said, and then what? Because
Mm-hmm.
then we're going to have a problem.
Mm-hmm.
You see what I'm saying? So then I called Zita, and I put the matter to Zita, and I said, explain to them what I just did, because I don't have lawyer to my name. They don't understand what I'm saying. And Zita said plainly to them, you cannot move my client unless you can satisfy these criteria
Mm-hmm.
in arresting somebody. You know this. So then why you want to make a scene?
Mm-hmm.
And so they had to pick up and go. So I said all of
And you
that to
see?
say.
Mm-hmm.
I said all of that to say. When the police come to you, you standing on the protest line with a placard and they want to come tell you any nonsense, ask them what section of the law you breaking.
Exactly.
Let them tell you,
And we
because if they
want
come
this
and they want to,
on camera so that the entire world could see that they are abusing their authority.
yeah, yeah.
We need it
And
broadcasted
so
to the
and
world.
so you have because you're not going to touch my placard until you can tell me what section of the law or whatever I'm breaking. You cannot touch my placard. Because you come and you try to pay, I'm going to try to pull it back from you. And
But
then
that,
I know that
I
they're
just said what
stupid
equal
enough.
force there, equal
And I
force.
know that they're stupid
Whatever
enough.
season I
They're
can
stupid
tell, I will
enough.
be trying to hold on to it. Because if you
And I
take
know
away
that they're stupid
backyard
enough.
without a lawful reason, it's thief, you're thieving it. And
But
I have to
that's it.
defend my property.
Because I know that they're stupid enough, especially some of the young ones, because you believe that you're in some kind of squad and they put you in a tactical unit, that you feel that anything you do, because the order come from above, you believe that it is right.
Not that they're
I
right.
have
As you
this to
said,
say.
hold on. As you just said, that you could do anything you want to do. Not just that the
Mhm.
order is right enough, but like you said, that they could do anything they want to do. Stress that piece
I
again,
have,
please.
but I have something to say to that. When you're in a uniform and you with your squad and you decide to do these things and trample on somebody's rights and they can't get to rectify that through legal means, what do you think going to happen when you're out a uniform? What do you think possibly could happen? And people need to start thinking about these things because a uniform does not make you invincible. It does not make
No,
you right even though you're wrong.
no. And that's why I said earlier, you have to make sure that you get a lawful order first, and you have to make sure that you carry out the lawful order lawfully. You have to make sure that. So
Mm-hmm.
don't stop on the
Mm-hmm.
protest line because Colin tell you, you must go take the placards now. You are wrench people hand and push down people and whatever because people go push you back.
Yes.
Because if you are a police officer and you come in and push somebody, they have every right to push you back because that is not lawful. That
But
is
that's it.
not lawful.
That's
And
it.
as I keep saying, whatever the police dish out will be returned and should be returned. So if you dish out kindness, kindness will be returned to you. Plain and simple as that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Plain and simple as that. Because we are at a stage now where everybody have to decide what they're doing. Everybody has to
Yeah.
decide. Is either you stand up for what is right, what is lawful, and what is democratic, or you are not. Whether you be police or civilian, you better decide. And we keep telling them this is why you see these charges don't get anywhere. Because going back to the whole 1950 something, whatever thing that Colin looking at, Senator Israel Bruce on Sunday night explained it carefully. And he asked the question, how is it they want to talk about people not being allowed to well, as they say, meetings and processions. But the same act also talks about the fact that it is illegal to walk around with t-shirts that are branded with a party. So if it is that Colin is enforcing the act, Colin needs to enforce the act. I would like to see Colin, the commissioner of police, stand up in front of a judge and explain to them why he chooses to enforce the part that says processions and meetings, but ignores the part that says you're not supposed to wear party branded stuff. I want to see Colin John explain that to a judge. And I want any sort of defense lawyer to ask Colin one question. How far do you intend to go in relation to the laws that you're bringing back? Because I want to know personally if Colin plans to go as far back as to the laws. Can see you're causing an echo. Wherever you did,
No,
you're causing
because
an echo.
these out, they are call come in just now and knock them out.
Okay.
So, but I have to go
Go
anyway though.
on.
I have to go do
Okay.
a bit of baking.
Mm-hmm.
So I have to run. So
All right,
I'll
cool.
see you tomorrow on the protest line.
Yep, yep.
I might be there a little late because I want to go and get some stuff organized before I come there. But I'll be there.
Mm-hmm. All right.
Um so I'll see you all maybe around lunchtime also
All right, later.
tomorrow. Alright.
Mm-hmm.
So take it easy. Later.
Cool. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So the question I was asking is this. How far does Colin intend to go in terms of these laws that he just keeps bringing back and bringing back? Is he going to go back as far as to laws that made slavery legal here in St. Vincent and Grenadines? How far does Colin intend to go beyond our constitution? Or should I say before our constitution? And how is it Colin would walk around and tell people that he's a trained lawyer, that he is a lawyer, but he doesn't understand that the Constitution supersedes any other thing. But you see, I don't think it's so much that Colin doesn't understand this. I think it's that Colin knows that the majority of his policemen and the majority of the citizens in this country don't know it. Majority of Vincentians and the majority of police officers do not understand the way the Constitution carries. I say Colin because yes, he has a say in the sense that not every single command comes straight from Ralph to Colin. Colin is so desperate for Ralph's approval that plenty of them don't see head things they see happening come straight from him. Don't doubt that. Don't doubt that they don't. And when they see anybody is arrested, Colin dances around that whole place and Francis and all of them. They're doing that for themselves. Don't worry about that. Don't worry about that. We know ultimately Ralph is a puppeteer. We know that much. We know that much. But don't doubt that Colin is out here not doing things to gain Ralph's approval. Don't ever doubt that. So we're almost out of time. It's like 6 minutes and then we're done because it's already 10:25. So let me just remind you that tomorrow on the protest line, hold on Ooh. Yeah. So tomorrow, 10 o'clock, in front of Parliament. And let me remind you of this. There is no law that says you cannot protest in the courthouse yard or in front of Parliament. None. What the law, the old law, the one before the Constitution said, is that if you're having a protest and the police, not a protest, sorry. If you're having a meeting, a public meeting, and the police comes and asks the person who has coordinated the public meeting to break up the crowd, and the person doesn't do that, now the police, well, you're supposed to go 200 yards away from the first spot, the original scheduled spot for the meeting. So if you are going to have a public meeting at Correz and your leader say, well, okay, the police said we can't stay anymore, you all have to go 100 yards in any direction away from 200 yards, sorry, in any directions away from Correz. That's the law. So there's nonsense about 200 yards from Parliament. I don't know if it is calling like Ralph Lucy Jumbie, but it ain't had a law that states that. None. And I'm begging police officers to not carry out unlawful orders and agitate people. Because I'm telling all you plainly, when all they come on the protest line and behave in unlawful ways and people retaliate, don't look for me. Don't look for me. I will simply turn my back. Because some of you are a little bit too much out here now. You're a little bit too much. Y'all need to read the laws and ensure that you conduct yourselves in a lawful manner. If a protester is behaving in an unlawful manner, that is something completely different. But you can't tell me like last week, Nikisha Williams from Rise Hairouna sat with a placard and a police is to come and wrench the placard out of Nikisha's hand. For what? Because they name police and they're in a uniform? Well, hear me tell all you something. You see now in this country here, it have people out there who have nothing to lose. Absolutely nothing to lose. And when you go up against somebody who has nothing to lose, expect anything. Take that foolish advice from me. When you as a police officer go up against somebody who has nothing to lose and you assault that person, expect anything. Because that's the state of some of the people who show up on protest lines. They have lost their jobs. They're close to losing their families, close to losing all sorts of things. Many of them outside here already start contemplating suicide. Those are the people you're coming out on the protest line to meet. So ensure that when you come out on the protest line, you come out cognizant of the fact that you are not above the law and you are not the law. You are simply meant to enforce the law. And just like any other citizen of this country, you are to abide by the laws of this country. And with that, I'm going to close off for tonight. Have yourself a good rest. See you all tomorrow on the protest line, 10 o'clock, in front of the Parliament building. Bring your placard and come. Ray, when you see these court matters have, dwindled out a bit, trust me, these police officers, the commissioner of police, whoever it is that's responsible for them, they will see their time in court, because we will be suing them for these unlawful arrests. They will be sued, each and every one of them. So, good night. Be good. See you tomorrow. God's willing. Mwah. Charge your phone and put on the. Oh, how much fun I get that? Thank you, Mel. That should have been the last thing I said to people. Charge your phone, put on data, come ready to broadcast to the world. This fight is not ground level. So don't watch Colin and them and get too, whatever. We ain't fighting them. This message is going to be broadcasted. And every time Colin and them come out and unlawfully arrest somebody, that is going to be broadcasted to the world, because that's the level we're fighting on out here. Something's got to give. Good night, everybody.